Welcome back to Brother Main Sudoku. Good morning and welcome back. I am Theta, and on Brother Main Sudoku, what we do is we solve Sudoku puzzles, of course, for the ASMR experience, getting that completion, that satisfaction of completion, as well as some strategy as we go through. So today, well, actually, I do want to send you guys love and light and positivity and things like that. I never want to forget that. So if you're out there as a viewer, if you're a returning viewer, welcome. If you're an absolutely new viewer, definitely welcome to you guys too. We're going to jump into some strategy as well today, some explanation, especially this being an extreme puzzle. If you look right here at the top, it's an extreme puzzle. But before I do that, I'm going to explain what a Sudoku puzzle is and how it's solved, and then getting to the settings here and things like that to show you the full array of settings, the features that this particular app offers. So a Sudoku puzzle is a completely numbers-oriented puzzle. It's a numerical puzzle. And how it is solved is that you see that these 3x3 squares are separated by the dark border line. So you have 9 3x3 squares separated by the dark border line, and each of the 3x3 squares you want to put the numbers 1 through 9 without repeating. Now you have simultaneous constraints of the rows, each of the rows 1 through 9, you want to put numbers 1 through 9 without repeating, and each of the columns 1 through 9, you want to put the numbers 1 through 9 not repeating. So you have 3 simultaneous constraints for a typical Sudoku puzzle. Now this is the Sudoku app offered on the Google Play Store. That's what I'm using right now, as well as the iOS store, I believe. It has a 4.5 rating and 50 million plus downloads. So it's by Beetle Studio. It has, and so it's very popular. And it has a lot of features that I like. I'm going to go through those next. So if you go here to the top and you hit the settings, it's going to show you a full array of settings. And it's going to, like audio effects, if you like the little click when you solve the numbers or click on a box. I keep that toggled on. Vibration if you're using mobile, notifications if you're into that stuff, the social stuff. Timer, and for the sake of this channel, I do disregard the timer. I use it in my mind for just curiosity's sake, just to see how long it's taking me to solve a particular puzzle of a particular difficulty. But then the next thing, one of the most important things I look at is the mistakes limit. Now you see typically with the mistakes limit, it says here that you lose the game at 3 mistakes, meaning you forfeit your points, you get something called a win streak, you forfeit that as well. But it doesn't mean you absolutely lose the puzzle. You are still able to go back in there for the price of a 30-second commercial and get that completion, that satisfaction that you want of completing the puzzle. But the next thing would be, and I'll say that actually too, and what we do here, I'm going to go back and show you. So the mistakes are actually counting here in the top left corner, and I'll explain that I actually use them on a preemptive, proactive manner, meaning I don't look at them as mistakes. I afford myself actually 2 guesses. I'll explain what that means. With this particular software, it will show you if you put in a box an attempt at a number to fill the box, right? You're wanting to solve that particular block. It will show you in red that it was wrong, or it will actually, that it was wrong. And typical Sudoku, even digital Sudoku, there's software out there that doesn't do that. So if you're looking for something like that, I would make the suggestion, look at this YouTube channel called Cracking the Cryptic. And what he does on there is various puzzles, various difficulty. He does New York Times puzzle every week with the New York Times and things like that. But he offers a particular software where it doesn't show you whether it's wrong. It's like just basic Sudoku where you don't know what the placement is until the very end. But this one, as you go along in this app, it will show you if it's wrong, and that'll count as a mistake. So it's actually something I kind of disregard, because with a typical Sudoku puzzle on paper, you're able to make as many mistakes as you want, as long as you get that final solution when you look back over it and nothing's repeating anywhere, right? So that being said, we're going to jump down here to these features, and that will lead to the next thing. We see only about, I counted it earlier, it's only 17 pre-filled in boxes. So with an extreme puzzle, I like to have 18. So what I'll do is I'll count and give myself 2 guesses I can afford, not 2 mistakes. And I'll have the hint down here in the bottom right corner. It looks like I have 3 accrued. You can accrue hints by watching commercials typically, or getting on your win streak. So I might default to using a hint, but that'll be later in the puzzle if I absolutely need. I like to stay away from that and just have 2 or fewer mistakes at most. The next thing would be the pencils. In Sudoku, if you're familiar with paper Sudoku, you typically use a pencil to make like an annotation. I'll show what that means right here. So the pencil is toggled on. I will hit this 1 maybe, and a 1 can potentially go in that box. We're not putting the 1 as an absolute solution just yet. It's making an annotation or a marking in the box to show us that a 1 could potentially go in that box. And that's very important in solving Sudoku, knowing where things can go and where things absolutely can't go. So that's placement. So we're going to then take that out of there because we're not solving it just yet. The last thing I will show for now is the speed pencil right next to it, and that's very important because with this particular app, for a certain level of difficulties, it offers a speed pencil. What that does, I'll go ahead and show you. We're going to take it. It just auto-populates. If you see it, if you're looking here, it auto-populates all the potential solutions. All of the potential solutions for all of the boxes, right? And that saves you time, and it also makes sure, for the most part, that it's absolutely accurate. Now, I have found, again, digital things are not 100% perfect, so sometimes it'll mark, something wrong in there, and then that'll give me a mistake. That's why I disregard them, because sometimes it'll be like, oh, it marked an extra number in here, it just, algorithms are algorithms and things like that. Digital machines aren't perfect. So, but for the most part, it does it accurately and things like that. So it's a little bit more accurate than if you were just to manually go in and put it on. It saves you time again. So without further ado, we're going to hop in here. The first thing I see, of course, is in this 3x3 box. This is going to be the 9. And how that works is you see a lot. It looks a little daunting, right? There's at least 3, just for the most part, at least 3 or more potential solutions marked in looks like 5 or 6 boxes here, right? So it's a little daunting or a little off-putting. But we see here the 9 can only go in this box, right? The 9, there's a 9 only marked in this box as a potential solution of missing digits. So this is going to be 9, and that's going to be correct. Now we get into something called spin in a block, right? These are blocks, right? So we get into something called spin in a block, right? And where we like to tag out a lot of different digits based off of one solution. So I hit this 9, I spin, hit this one, hit this one as well, hit that one. Awesome. Does that free up anything else? We can continue to spin and get epic spins and things like that, but we don't have that right now. We're going to lose a little bit of momentum, but that's not absolutely a horrible thing. So this will be the lead to the next strategy, right? So if we go back to this 3x3 box, we see the 7s are isolated to this bottom row, right? So that's very particular, right? So if for this 3x3 box, the 7s have to go in this row. So if they have to go in this row, a 7 has to go in either of these boxes. That means for this row, the 7s have to be right here as well. So that means when I click this box, I'm just going to use, this is where my manual pencil comes into play. I'm just going to take the 7 out of every other box, if you're watching along, in this row. And that helps us just get process elimination. What that just did, if you're watching now, we move over to this left box, left 3x3 grid on the other side. And what that just did, it took the 7s out of this and it isolated the 7 to this middle box, right? So we're just going to go ahead, and that's going to definitely be 7. Can't spin on that. That's fine. No worries. We were able to isolate regardless. All right, so we're just looking for patterns like that. We're looking for pairs, we're looking for patterns and things like that too. It's not always about where things can go. It's about sometimes where things absolutely can't go. All right, so this is an extreme puzzle. We haven't used any guesses yet, anything like that. We're doing all right. So again, the 7s would be isolated to this row, but we don't have any 7s in that row to eliminate. The 7s are again isolated to this row. All right, so we're kind of iffy. But look, the 2s are doing the same thing, right? So we can go ahead and highlight this and do our pencil again. You're gonna want to take some time to make sure that it's on when it's on or it's off when it's on, because that'll give you a mistake, right? And we don't want that. So it's on right now. The 2s are isolated to this bottom row in these 2 boxes here. So we're just going to take the 2 out of all of these boxes that are in that same row. And that just helps us isolate yet again. Now, if we stay in that row, we're going to hit this 8 right here, right? Because that has to be 8, because for this row, it can't be repeating. And this 8 can only go right here. So this 8 is going to do right there. We can't really spin on that, but we see that it's an 8. So that's a good thing. That helps us isolate. Now we're looking for anywhere else we can isolate. We can take these sixes for this 3x3 box, if we're looking at these sixes here on the ends right here, there's no other six anywhere else in this box, so that has to be in this row, so that this cannot be 6. So we're going to take the 6 out of that box, right? So we're showing them the 6s are isolated to these 3 boxes right here. All right, so we're just going to continue around and keep looking for patterns like that. Now this one is a doozy. This one definitely is a doozy. It's not looking too easy here, but we're good. All right, we get that same 8 right here. Awesome, right? So we're just working our way around. First off, tagging off anything. We get that 5 right next to it. Awesome, that helps us. We're still, just isolating and things like that, and getting our bearings. Now the 9s are isolated here in the middle. All right, so that means they have to be in here in this row. Okay. All right, we're just gonna keep looking around. The 8s have to be here. All right, we're just gonna keep looking around. All right, and it looks like we have the 2s isolated right here, so we're gonna go ahead and take the 2s out of these 2 boxes, which helps us greatly because the 2 can only then go in this box. All right, we're still good. We're in good standing because we haven't used any guesses yet, which is guessing at placement. We haven't used our hint that we still can use that 3rd because we only got 17 pre-filled in boxes, and so we would use that hint. So we're still doing fairly decent. So let's just continue. Now the 4s for this row have to be isolated to these 3 boxes here. So we're going to take the 4s out of here. These 2 boxes, well actually, yeah, the 4s are already going from there. Awesome. And we're just going to continue around like that for the most part. That helps us. Then put the 4s right here. Okay. Awesome. All right. We're just looking for patterns like that. Any patterns like that. The 3s have to be, well, no, we have a 3er that can go right here, so we don't know just yet. We're just going to continue around. Looks like the 8s have to go right here for this row. Okay. Nothing really ultimately presents itself right now, so we're just looking around to see what patterns we can see. All right, we might have to do our first guess here because I'm not seeing anything present itself just yet, so we might have to do that. And how that works, we're just going to want to choose one where it's only one of 2 options. That's our best bet, so we have this 1 or 5, and we're just going to want to use probability. Probability is one of the strategies I use to do it. And we're just going to say, okay, what is the probability that this is a 1 or not? Well, we have 4 other options this way where the 1 could go. We have 4 other options this way where the 1 could go. We're trying to just isolate that. It's not really the easiest to then do this on that level. There's other ways you can do it as well. We know that these 2 boxes, either this is 7 or this is 7, right? And we're just looking for, where things have to go and stuff like that. So we are pretty much in good standing here. I'm going to go ahead and the 1 could be anywhere, right? But if this is not, we know that if this is not 1, this is then this is 5. And how this works in the other software and stuff like that, we'll take some time to note that. In the other one, it's not going to tell you. I'll show you. This is a good example with this software, which I like it. Some people might not like it. It's just up to you. If I hit, let's say we do 1 in there, and that's 1 is wrong, it wouldn't show you that in other apps, stuff like that. So I do understand that some people don't like that, but I just go ahead and just go back, and I know this is now 5, and so I can hit this as 1. That's going to help free us some things. We can spin, hit this 6. Awesome. That leaves 2 or 7 in this bottom row here. That then gives me, right, 4 in this box, 5, right, okay. And we're just looking around as we go. Okay, and that was our first of it, so we accrued that, but we shouldn't have to use any more just yet. And sometimes it's right, so then it is and things like that. Oh, we can hit this 7 right here. As we see in this top 3x3 box, see things open up, we're able to hit this 7 here. That's definitely a 7, which then isolates our 6s to right here, and then we're able to then get rid of these 6s and here, put our pencil on, take these 6s off, right, and which then isolates our 6 for this row right here, so it's got to be 6, all right, and we're not really able to spin on that, but then we're looking around a little bit more, and things like that. So that's how that works. You make those in this app. It's more of like guesses and stuff like that, and in a regular software and stuff like that, it's going to be more so of the idea of cross, finding pairs and stuff like that, which you can do. I can definitely use that strategy, but yeah, I'm actually actively using that strategy as I do this as well, and that helps me as well. So what we're looking for here is anything is freed up. So now we're looking at an 8 that's either one of these 8s, and we're looking at what's the probability. I like to do probability of because I see that the 8 could go here, here, or here for this row. I see the 8 could go here, 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 here. So it has 3 other options that the 8 could be, right? Or I could choose this 2 or this 1, right, and say, okay, is this a 1 or a 2? Well, the 1 has 3 other options here. 2 has 3 other options here. The 2 also has this option here. This 2, you know what I'm saying? So I look like that. But for the most part, I like to just keep it so that it's not too bad on me. Now we're going to take a look here. Nothing really opens up. I have 2 options for the 9s. I can use probability on the 9s. Either way, we're just going to choose any one that we want to help us. And I like to look around and see what is, if I use my guess here, and either way, does it free up enough stuff? Does it free up enough stuff in another way, or in another, what I'm saying? Does it free up enough stuff? Does it help expose any of the other digits, if that makes sense? Once I do that and once I free it up. So I like to choose where right. I'm gonna guess 2 here. 2 is gonna be wrong, so I know it's 1, right? But that gives me the 2 next to it. Awesome, I can spin, hit this 2. All right, and that was our second guess right there. Right, which isolates our 5s here, so we can take 5 out of this box. Right, awesome. And that's how that works. Just trying to gain momentum here. As much momentum as possible. My 9 is here for this row. If you're watching, my 9 is here. So we are at our second guess. I can hit this 9, but it's freeing up as much as possible here. This is just kind of a different approach to Sudoku, a little bit just with this app. But you see that we're solving it. We're only at 2 mistakes. We do have that hint only because we got the 17 boxes instead of 18. We're going to then take this 7 here. That's going to free up this 3. We may or may not need it, depending on a lot is getting exposed here. We may or may not need it. Immediately I can spin, hit this 5. Anywhere where it's just, it's already, and it does that too. So it shows me the remaining numbers. I can spin, hit this 5. I can hit this guy. I can hit his partner. You know what I'm saying? All that. And so, things are definitely getting exposed here and stuff like that. Again, I can take this 9 for this row, and I can definitely finish out 9s, and that's a great thing. Definitely spin, hit this one above it. Okay. And you're still looking for patterns or anything like that. I can hit the 7 because it goes for this row, so you can just keep your eye out for anything like that. You can definitely grab this 2 right next to it. And stay in that mode and spin, hit this 2. Awesome, which gives me the 3. And as you're solving it, if you notice, as you're solving it, things get exposed. And things like that. So you're able to solve it with more facility. The 6 opened up, which is definitely gonna help me open up the 7. Right, I spin hit this 7. So even though it's an extreme puzzle, we're still able to solve it in kind of an uncanny fashion, if you want to look at it like that, because of what this app, how this app works, which is very interesting. Something I definitely enjoy. I can spin hit this 1 and stuff like that, because typical apps won't do this for you. Now you're left with, we can definitely get this 7 going. We can get this 1 above it because the 1 can only go here, and it's getting solved as you go. So this is an extreme puzzle, but it's also, definitely solvable and things like that. If you just, practice patience and stick to your constraints, you're going to come to a point where you can employ some strategy. And so we're looking around here. You can employ some strategy. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm trying to see if that's absolutely necessary. Well, it's not, because we see in this bottom row, this is going to definitely be the 6, which is going to help us. Then it's just going to help us a little bit more. Right? We're going to just keep looking. Right? And we're just seeing a lot of the same numbers now missing, and we're getting to the point where the last thing I'll show you is autocomplete. So at this point, what we can do is we can use our manual pencil to then maybe use a probability thing. We say this is either the 3, or this is, we have 2 other options, the same thing here. This is either 3 in this 3x3 box. This one is either 3, or this is the 3, right? The 8's this way, or we have 2 other options for 8 this way. This one only has 1 way, so we can use that. Say 2 other options for 8 this way. Because it's just a lot of the same stuff missing. We have 2 other options for 8 this way, whereas this one only has 1 other option for 8 this way. So we could take our pencil, we could say, okay, for instance, if this is not the 8, then this is the 8. So let's say we took the 3 out of this box and said that was 8. Then what does that do? That makes this, we're just going to work around and do a possible solution, basically, right? If this is the 8, then we're going to take the 8 out of here, and that's the 3. If that's the 3, then we can take the 3 out of every other box here. So we'll take 3 out of here, and here. Right? What does that do? Okay. All right. Well, so we're going to say that then this is not the 8, right? Because we decided that that was the 8. So that means then, right, do we see anything else? Right, we're just going to take a look here. That means this is the 3, right? For this 3x3 box, so we're going to take the 4 out of here, meaning that this is the 4. Right, and if that's the 4, then this is the 8. So we're going to take the 4 out of here, and if that's the 8, then this is the 4. Right, and then we're going to look at that 3, 4, and if that's, then we're going to take this 3 out, and that's the 8, and if that, and then this is the 3, we're going to take the 8 out of here, and that leaves that. So you're seeing we're working strategy now, more so strategy. Does anything conflict as we do that? Not really. So then let's just keep on that tangent. If this is the 3, then this is the 4. Right? So we're going to take the 3 out of here. Then we're going to take the 4 out of here. All right, so we still don't find a conflict yet. So this could be the possible solution. If this is the 3, then we're going to take the 3 out of here. right? And if this is, then we're going to take the 4 out of here, leaving that's the 6. Then we can go right here. If that is the 6, that means this is the 4. So we're going to take the 4 out of here. We're going to, if these are the 4 and the 6, that means this is the 3. So we're going to take the 4 and the 6 out of here. All right, that's the 3. That means this is the 6 right here. So we're going to take the 4 out of it. We're going to then look at this. All right, and we're going to then continue. One of these is 4. Oh, but we know that this is the 4. Maybe. So we're going to take the 4 out of here. Maybe this is the 8. Right? And so then that's the 4. If that's the 4, then this is the 3. So we're going to take the 4 out of here. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do, we're going to take then the 3. Well, not the last thing we're going to take. Did we find? We still don't find a conflict, so we may have solved it. We may have solved it. We may have solved it. Right? All right, so we're just going to stay on that at this. All right, so then this has to be then the 4. Right? We're going to take the 6 out of here. All right, and then this has to be the 6. I mean, we're going to take the 4 out of there. Now we're just going to eyeball it and look like, does this work? Does this work is our next question. So it looks like it works. So we use kind of a little probability thing, but we use our strategy as well. This is definitely a strategy you use. We just saved it to the end. So it's very interesting here for this extreme puzzle. We were able to get to the end. We still only have our 2 guesses here. We're going to do here. Awesome. Hit this. And this looks like it works. This looks like everything works. So we're just going to remember which one that we decided we were going to guess on. Or we're just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put the hard 8 in there. I'm going to see, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to use my hint. Was it the 8? And it was the 8. So that's a beautiful, lovely thing. And what we're going to do then is we're just going to go on that tangent. We're just going to fill everything in here based off of that. Everything should be correct. And the last thing you're going to see, once we get down to the nitty gritty here, right, we're just going to continue around. Hit this one. Right, you're going to see the autocomplete pop up on this one. All right, and what that does is just, it says that you've solved enough of the blocks. You spun the block epically. You know, you hit every guy, and then it is, it'll just go ahead and finish out the puzzle for you. So now at the end of this Sudoku, I want to take some time to explain it to you who it is that I am. First, I want to say I hope you enjoyed that. That was thoroughly enjoying for me. That was an extreme puzzle from, again, this is the Sudoku app by Beetle Studio on the Google Play Store, most definitely, but I definitely think you can find it on the iOS store. And it was kind of an uncanny approach, you know. It definitely used the main strategies or cross-hatching, or process of elimination, placement, but it also used, you know, because this app does certain things, like it shows you where a potential, it shows you where a box, you know, you solve it incorrectly as you go, instead of saving that to the end. We, you know, just staved off that last, you know, strategy of, you know, potential placement and things like that to the very end. So it's kind of an uncanny approach. I definitely hope you enjoyed that, you know, maybe in comparison or contrast to your typical Sudoku solving experience. But I do want to explain that my name again is Theta. I am a writer and an aspiring screenwriter as well. If you'll nip over to my main channel on Brother Main 777, I do have an introductory video where I talk about, you know, the projects that I'm currently working on. I'm actually tackling another project here too as well. So in addition to those 2 projects, the first of which is my screenwriting project called Brother Main. It is a TV series, or will be a TV series, hopefully, hour-long episodes and things like that. It's called Brother Main. I'm not going to get into the details of what it is or about the plot and everything like that. Again, in that introductory video, I'll explain that. My main writing project is a 1,000-page academic text that will be titled "The Method for Correctly Conducting the Conscious." And that, again, I won't take time to explain that here. Definitely nip over and see that video. And the last project I just started working on, you won't see that mentioned in there, but it's going to be called Fig, and that will definitely put a video up there on there as well that will discuss what Fig is about too, a separate video for that as well. But they're definitely interesting projects that I'm getting ready to complete here and things like that. But the last thing I will say is, you know, you see my handles pop up here. If you want, I'm on a few platforms. I have my works uploaded for, you know, industry professionals to look at. But for you as the viewer, if you just, you're interested in those things, I also do a podcast every Monday and Friday morning too. It's the Brother Man podcast on Podbean, as well as I'm going to split between Podbean and SoundCloud. So I have my SoundCloud set up, but I don't have any podcasts up there yet. You'll find my podcast right now primarily on Podbean. And again, that's Monday and Friday mornings. I'm on Coverfly, Free Film Wave, for more so for professionally industry professionals. But I also have my crowdfunding pages as well to raise the money to be able to produce and publish my works, and that's on GoFundMe and Indiegogo. Again, all my handles you see up here will, if you just search those things up, you can find those. And the last thing I will say, is you'll see my contact information on my introductory videos, on my email, on my phone. I use both for personal and business, so feel free, use the viewer, use my audience. I love you guys. Again, I started the video out by saying that I want to send you as much love as possible. Go ahead and send me as much love as possible. Go ahead and contact me if you'd like, and I'm definitely open and available to you guys to have conversations about just positive things. That's what we discuss on the podcast. So I am open, I am available, I am reachable and within reach and things like that for you guys at all times. But definitely for industry professionals as well. If you're interested in discussing my projects in further detail, I am open for that as well. And so just very last thing I'm going to say is please hit the likes, get in the comments, maybe with different strategy you would have used. If this is your first time to learning about Sudoku, if my channel, entertains you, if it doesn't, that's what it is. Not everything is for everybody, but definitely hit subscribe, get those notifications, and I will see you guys in the next one.